Using a simple API like this, now you can scrape hotels listing from Google Hotels. It will include prices, addresses, amenities, and more. Hi, I'm Hilman from SerpApi. Let's take a look. Make sure you've registered at serpapi.com to get your API key, since we are going to use the Google Hotels API from SerpApi. Next, install the request package or whatever HTTP package you want to use, and then export your SerpApi key. Ensure to put the actual API key you got from the SerpApi dashboard. Moving to the text editor, let's prepare our request. First, we can store the API key we just export from the terminal and put it on a variable, prepare the parameter, and also using the request package to access this endpoint from SerpApi and include all the parameters here. Let's continue the parameter here. First, we need the query, whatever keyword we want to search for. We put it on the queue parameter. You could put place name, city, the hotel's name, whatever query you want to search for, and then the check-in date and also checkout date using this format, year, month, dates. Next, to make the output easier to see, let's use JSON here and then using JSON dumps to give it 2 indentation. Now let's run the file and looks good. Now we have the API response from SerpApi. It includes a bunch of information here, as you can see on the Google Hotels as well. But let's focus on the properties response here, which includes all of the hotels that are available on the search results. It includes the name, description, link, thumbnails, rate per night, total rate, and so on. So we've successfully retrieved the hotel listing information through this simple call. Let's say we only want to save several information like the name and the pricing. First, let's take a look again at the structure. So we have the name, the description, link directly here. But for the price, it's located under the lowest under the rate per night key. So it's the total rate. Let's see how it looks like in the code. First, I'm going to prepare an empty list of properties and then running a loop to the properties response. Let's only save the name, the rate per night, and also the total rate under each of these keys. Next, let's print the properties result. Now we should see a cleaner response like this. So we only print the data that we needed, which include the name, rate per night, and also the total rate for each hotels. If we check how many properties we got for now, we should see it's around 20 results, since Google Hotels only returns 20 results per page. So currently, we are still on the page 1. In case you need to paginate the results and look at the second, third, and the rest of the pages, let's see how we can do it with this API. First, referring to the Google Hotels API documentation, for the pagination, we should have a next page token parameter, which is available from the original request. So we can take the next page token and then use this token on the follow-up request. Let's take a look at the sample response. Here we can see the next page token is available under the SerpApi pagination. So let's prepare our code. I can get rid of this first. We can keep the properties variable. Just move it right below here and introducing some other variables. So first, for the page counter, let's start from 0. And I'm also introducing a new variable called max pages to limit our search. It's up to you. I'm going to limit my search to only up to the 5 pages. It's really depend on your use case. Using a while loop, as long as the page count is smaller than max pages, increase for the page count here. Now we are going to introducing a subsequent request here by adding a new parameter called next page token, which we got from SerpApi pagination, next page token. And then we can do the same request as before, just like above. Next, we can wrap this for loop to store the keys we are interested in, like this. So the for loop is now under the while loop. We will collect all of the properties on each of these call. Next, we can also check just in case this is the last page or the next page token is not available anymore. Let's do an if else here. So that's the first condition. And if it's not met, we can say break here. So if the SerpApi pagination is in response and also the next page token is under the SerpApi pagination response, then we want to do the loop. Otherwise, we can get out of this loop. Next, let's check how many properties we got right now and also print the rest of the properties. Before printing the results, I'd like to add some hint here on the terminal so we know what's the current page count. Let's run the code. Page 1, page 2, 3, and we limit it only until the 5th page. So right after page 5, it should stop the program, printing the properties information. And as we can see, 5 times 20, since we have 20 results per page, now we have 100 properties. So this is how we can paginate the results. We still perform the initial request just like before, but now we want to loop and make sure to give a limit on how many pages you want to perform. We introduce a condition, make sure there is a next page, otherwise we can get out of the loop. Do a subsequent request by introducing a new parameter next page token. I just realized that we removed the properties from the initial search we have here. So currently we do perform a first request for the first page, but we forgot to save it on the properties, so we can repeat what we have previously by introducing the properties variable earlier and then loop the properties, then save it on the properties. So now the properties should include the results from the first page. Of course, you can refactor it and make it nicer by wrap the same blocks on the onIF function, but this should do it for now. At this stage, you can do whatever you want with the data. For example, let's try to export it on a CSV file. First, we open a new file called hotels results CSV. And then in this loop, we prepare the whiter for the CSVs. Next, we prepare the header called the 3 fields we care about. And then loop the properties variable, which we stored previously, and write the row for each of this data. And finally, we can give a feedback that CSV already successfully created. Make sure to import the CSV file. And I think we can skip this part as we don't need it right now. The program. And now, CSV files created. If you click on the CSV file, you should see the header and also each of the data. Just to be safe, I'd like to see it on the spreadsheet. And yep, all good. We have the name, rate per night, and also the total rate as we needed. In the actual website, we need to click on one of the hotels to get the detailed information. Let's see how to do it in SerpApi. We can comment out the rest of the code and back to the initial request. Now let's focus on the results for the properties first. Let's take a look at one of the example here. If you notice, each of the items will have a property token. So this key value is what we are going to use to check the detailed requests depending on which hotel or which place you are interested in. Let's say, for example, we want to check this Hello Broadway hotel. I'm going to take both of the key and the value. And imagine this is a follow-up request from the previous one. I'm just going to write it here. So you definitely can put the value programmatically here. And now the response is not in the properties anymore. Let's just see the raw response for now. Now we can see the results is only focused on the Hello Broadway hotel. It gives more description. It gives more detailed prices here. As you can see, we have an array of prices, including the source, the link, the logo, and all the detailed information that we can get. That's it. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video. Bye.